Hi, my name is Sydney Mitchell.
Hi, I'm Matthew Brickman, Florida Supreme Court mediator. Welcome to the Mediate This podcast, where we discuss everything mediation and conflict resolution.
Today, Matthew and I are extremely excited to have a special guest on the show. We have with us Matthew Barach. Matthew is considered by many as the fixer in Massachusetts family law. He has over 20 years of family law experience. His prestigious career includes winning 2 landmark family law cases in the Commonwealth pertaining to the new Alimony Reform Act and child custody. Matt has been ranked as a top 10 family law attorney in Massachusetts by the American Jurist Institute and as a top 100 lawyer in America by the American Society of Legal Advocates. Welcome, Matthew. We are so excited to have you with us here on the show.
How are you?
How are you? I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing great. It's great to meet you, Matthew.
It's nice to meet you too. Awesome. You're doing good.
So, Matthew, I'm just going to jump right in. I'm really excited to find out what you did with alimony reform and with child custody in Massachusetts, because in Florida, we've been unsuccessfully trying to modify and change the laws. But tell me how it was in Massachusetts and then what took place and how it got changed and what it is now.
Well, the alimony sort of came out of common law. So there was never a specific statute, which is true in most states where there's no alimony is something that a judge would do, and it would base his ability to do or her ability to do it based on their discretion, based on the marital statute generally. And so a body of case law over the years develops as to how and when you can do alimony and award it to a party that's seeking it or not award it. And one of the problems historically was, well, okay, if a judge grants let's say a wife alimony to the husband, the big question was always, well, when does it end?
Right.
And so what happened over the years is that a person that was retiring, let's say a husband worked for 20 years and paid alimony, maybe the marriage was only 10 years, there was no cutoff date for that alimony unless that person went back to court. And over the years, because there was no statute, there was no specific law in place that would say that alimony would end upon retirement, people were paying for alimony up until their 60s, 70s, and it became quite an issue. And so there became a real groundswell movement in Massachusetts and the Commonwealth to put in a statutory mechanism which would stop alimony at the age of retirement. And then there was other issues around it, like the duration, like say you're only married for 5 years. Sure. But what if you end up paying alimony for 10? There was nothing that limited to that. So as part of the statute that came out, the new Alimony Reform Act, about 6, 7, 8 years ago, the statute limited alimony in the term that you could receive alimony based on not only cutting it off at the Social Security age of retirement, which is generally right now for folks 66 or 67, if you're born after 1960, prior to it 66, they put in durational limits. So a marriage from 0 to 5 years is you could only have alimony for 50% of the durations, 5 to 10, 60%, et cetera. And in a marriage over 20 years, it could be for an indefinite length. But so they pegged it to the length of the marriage, which is defined as the date of the marriage to the service of the complaint for divorce. Right. And so that sort of did away theoretically with the inequity of having a pay alimony beyond their age of retirement or beyond sort of a fair amount of months that exceeds the marriage. And that was the basis of it. And what they did was they took a percentage of 30 to 35% of the differential in a party's income, which is sort of based on the federal tax code. Unfortunately, that changed because I think one of the real change in alimony over the last 5 years is that when Congress in their infinite wisdom did away with the deduction of alimony to a payor, and that's really changed the whole mechanism. So that's kind of thrown everything for a little bit.
Yeah, that was about 2 years ago, I think.
It was about 2 years ago. It was the last Congress before the current one.
Hi, my name is Sydney Mitchell.
Hi, I'm Matthew Brickman, Florida Supreme Court mediator. Welcome to the Mediate This podcast, where we discuss everything mediation and conflict resolution.